Hello students, AS level chemistry, chapter is atomic structure, lecture number 11. In this lecture we are going to study another important thing about ionization energy. We are going to talk about what are the factors affecting ionization energy, how ionization energy it, it becomes different for different elements. Now you must remember, what is ionization energy? It is the energy related to the process of loss of electron. It is the energy related to the process of oxidation. Now, how an element can lose electron easily or with difficulty? It depends on three factors. Now, what are the three factors by which ionization energy value can be low or high for a given element? Number one factor that you must remember, it is atomic radius. Ionization energy depends on atomic radius or distance of the valence shell from the nucleus. Atomic radius, it is the distance from the nucleus of the valence shell. Second factor on which ionization energy depends, it is nuclear charge. And the third factor on which ionization energy depends, it is shielding or screening. So no need to worry about these chemical terms that might be new for you people. Just look at shielding, just look at this word shielding or screening. I will give you a very simple explanation so that you could memorize this quite easily. Let's start with the first factor and try to understand how ionization energy it can be different depending on these factors. First of all, atomic radius. As I have told you, what is atomic radius? It is the distance of valence shell from the center of nucleus. Distance between the center of nucleus and the valence shell, it is known as atomic radius. Now I can give you some examples of elements from group number 1. What is the common feature of group number 1? All the elements in group number 1, they have same number of valence electron. They have one valence electron. What are the common elements? I am just giving you people examples of three elements from group number 1. First of all, lithium. Its atomic number is 3. And how many shells lithium has? It has two shells. In shell number 1, 2 electron. In the second shell, 1 electron. So second shell is the outermost or valence shell of lithium. So it has one valence electron, so you can easily identify that it is belonging to group number 1. Look at next element of this group, sodium. Atomic number 11. Its electronic configuration 2 8 1. First shell has 2 electron, second has 8, and the last shell again it has 1 electron, clearly indicating that this also belongs to group number 1. And potassium, third element from this group, again if you look at the electronic configuration, you can come to know that it is also having one valence electron, so it also belongs to group number 1. Now if you look at the number of shells of each element, it is quite obvious and quite easily you can understand and you can guess which element is smallest in radius and which element is largest in radius. Uh, since lithium has two shells, so it is the smallest in size, it is the smallest in radius. Compared to lithium, sodium has three shells, so the radius of sodium would be greater than that of lithium. And potassium, out of these three elements, it is largest in radius, it is largest in size, since it has four shells. So simply you can see number of shells can give you an idea how to decide about the radius, about the size of an atom. Now whenever these elements they will lose electron, they will lose which electron? They will lose their valence electron. Now what you can see, the distance of the valence electron from the nucleus, it is minimum for lithium, and this distance of the valence shell from the nucleus, it is maximum in case of potassium. What does this mean? It means in case of lithium, the nucleus would attract the valence shell with a greater force, but in potassium the nuclear force, nuclear pull would be minimum. Why it would be less in case of potassium? Because as the distance of the valence shell from the nucleus increases, nucleus becomes less able to attract the valence shell. So it means which one of these element can lose electron easily? Potassium. The reason why it can lose electron easily, because it has largest radius, it has weakest pull of nucleus for the valence shell. So that is why potassium out of these three elements would have lowest ionization energy, and whenever an element has lowest ionization energy, it is most reactive. So right now out of these three elements, potassium, it is most reactive. Reason, since it has lowest ionization energy. Reason, since it has largest radius, it has weakest pull of nucleus for the valence shell. So what one word description you can remember, one word explanation you can remember in your mind, that which elements can have low ionization energy, which are bigger in radius, which are large in radius. That's it. Moving on, second factor, how nuclear charge it can control ionization energy. First of all, if you look at the name, second factor, its name, nuclear charge. So what comes in your mind? What is nuclear charge? Nuclear charge is the charge on the nucleus of an atom, and as you people know, nucleus of an atom, it contains two important particles. One is subatomic particle proton, other is subatomic particle neutron. Proton and neutron, and out of these two subatomic particles, neutron is neutral. So what does this mean? Which subatomic particle it is charged and it is responsible for deciding nuclear charge? It is proton, and you people know protons are positively charged particles. So protons, when they are positively charged particle, what will be nuclear charge? It would also be positive. So nuclear charge is always positive, and nuclear charge, it is always equal to number of protons. Greater the number of protons, greater will be the nuclear charge. Greater the number of protons, greater will be the nuclear charge, and stronger will be the pull of nucleus. What does this mean? Let me give you an example. This is the example of elements of period number 2. What is the common feature of elements of period number 2? All the elements belonging to period number 2, they have two shells only. So what are these elements? These elements are lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine and neon. And you can see their atomic number is increasing from left to right by 1 unit. What does this mean? Lithium has number of proton 3, while the number of proton of neon 10. But all these elements, they have equal number of shells. They have two shells. Now if it is asked in this way, that what is the nuclear charge for lithium, you can say nuclear charge for lithium is 3 because it has 3 proton, beryllium has 4, 5, 6, so on. So right now we are just focusing on nuclear charge, and you can remember right now nuclear charge is the charge on the nucleus. Okay, now lithium has 2 shells, remember it has 3 protons. Neon has 2 shells, it has 10 protons. So what does this mean? Which nucleus is able to attract 2 shells strongly? And remember, as we are moving from left to right, not only number of protons are increased, number of electrons are also increasing. Electrons are negatively charged particles, protons are positively charged particles, and oppositely charged particles, they always attract each other. So there are 10 protons in neon and there are 10 electrons but in two shells. So there would be strongest pull of nucleus in case of neon. So what will happen? Due to strongest pull of nucleus in case of neon, the two shells, they will get close to the nucleus. When they will get close to the nucleus, would it be easy or difficult to remove an electron? It would become difficult to remove an electron from neon. That is why neon would have maximum ionization energy out of these 8 elements, and neon would be least reactive. So what does this mean? In simple words, what you must remember: more nuclear charge, stronger pull of nucleus, and higher ionization energy. So right now I have just explained two factors for the ionization energy. Simply what you must remember: large radius, low ionization energy, low nuclear charge, low ionization energy. Next thing, we are going to talk about the third factor. It is shielding or screening. Okay, just you will have to remember this chemical term, shielding or screening. But what is shielding or screening? It is very simple. Let me explain it to you. What is shielding or screening? I am giving you example of an element. Example of an element like sodium. You can see sodium, and you know sodium, it has 11 electrons, it has 3 shells. You people also know this outermost shell, it is known as valence shell. It is known as valence shell. But do you know what these shells are known as, which are present inner to the valence shell? These shells which are present inner to the valence shell, they are known as intervening shells, and electrons present in these shells, they are known as intervening electrons. Now what happens? Nucleus of sodium, it attracts first shell. How many protons are present in the nucleus of sodium? 11 protons. How many electrons are in the first shell? 2. Is there anything between nucleus and the first shell? No. It means all the 11 protons, they are able to attract first shell without any obstacle, without any hindrance. But when we move on to the second shell of sodium, 11 protons, they try to attract the second shell. But what is present between second shell and the nucleus? First shell. And first shell is intervening shell for second shell. First shell, it contains 2 electrons. When protons in the nucleus, they attract the second shell, electrons in the first shell, they repel the second shell. Why they repel the second shell? Because similarly charged particle, they always repel each other. So what does this mean? Now just think this mathematically. 11 protons are attracting the second shell, and how many electrons are repelling? 2. 11 protons are attracting, 2 electrons are repelling. So what is the difference? 9. So it means out of 11, just 9 protons are able to attract the second shell. If you move on, look at the last shell, valence shell. There is 1 electron, but between valence shell and nucleus, how many shells? 2 shells. How many electrons? 10 electrons. So there are 10 intervening electrons. Now all the 11 protons, they try to attract the last shell. All the 11 protons, they are trying to attract the last shell, but there are 10 intervening electrons which are giving repulsion to the valence shell. So 11 protons are trying to attract, 10 electrons are repelling. What is the net effect? one proton. So what does this mean? It means total number of proton in the nucleus of sodium are 11, but out of 11, how many protons are able to attract the last shell? 1. So 11 proton is the actual nuclear charge, and 1 proton is the effective able nuclear charge, net nuclear charge for the valence shell. Now why effective nuclear charge is less? It is less due to repulsion caused by the intervening electrons. So what is shielding? In one word you can remember now. I have explained shielding. What is shielding? In one word you can remember, shielding is the repulsion. And remember, this repulsion, it is caused to the valence shell by which electrons? It is caused to the valence shell by intervening shells or intervening electrons. So simply how you can define, if ever you are asked what do you mean by shielding, in one word you can say it is the repulsion. If you want to write down a statement, you can write down shielding or screening is the repulsion caused to the valence shell by the intervening shells or by the intervening electrons. Now what has happened? Whenever there is shielding or there is repulsion, the pull of nucleus on the valence shell, it decreases, because nuclear charge decreases for the valence shell. Nuclear charge decreases for the valence shell. Out of 11 proton, only 1 proton of sodium is able to attract the last shell. So we can say nuclear charge, number of proton for the valence shell, it has decreased. So what does this mean? It means whenever there is more shielding, what will happen to the nuclear pull? It will become weak, and whenever nuclear pull is weak, ionization energy would decrease. Less ionization energy would be needed to remove an electron. Let me explain. Look at these examples. There are 3 elements from group number 1. I have written in front of you. Lithium, it has 2 shells. Sodium has 3 shells. Potassium has 4 shells. Now tell me which one of these 3 would have maximum shielding, maximum repulsion. Repulsion depends on number of intervening shells. How many intervening shells are present in lithium? Just one. How many intervening shells in sodium? 2. In potassium? 3. So where there is maximum shielding? In case of potassium. So where it would be easy, due to greater repulsion, it would be easy to remove an electron? In case of potassium. So that is why potassium is most reactive out of these 3 elements. Now to conclude this lecture, I am giving you a single line explanation. You can remember this simply, this one line, this one sentence, that how these 3 factors, they are related to ionization energy, how these 3 factors, they are related to the reactivity of an element. Look, if a metal is reactive, what must be its ionization energy? It would have low ionization energy. Whenever a metal has low ionization energy, it is most reactive. It is reactive comparatively. Now just think over, imagine what will be the relationship of low energy with these 3 factors. I am going to show you, but you must have clear in your mind that what is the relationship of low energy with these 3 factors. Yes, what should be atomic radius for low ionization energy? Large radius. What should be nuclear charge? Less, low nuclear charge. What should be shielding? More shielding, more repulsion. So just look at this. Large radius means low ionization energy. Low nuclear charge means low ionization energy. More shielding means low ionization energy. So this is one liner summary of this complete lecture. That's it. So in the next lecture we will talk about questions based on these 3 factors. But just remember, ionization energy depends on 3 factors. When ionization energy is low, When radius is large, nuclear charge is low, shielding is more. That's it. I hope you would have enjoyed this lecture. Thank you for watching. If you have any question, you can write on your question in the comments. Thank you for your time.